wig revolution with Gizmo. Happy birthday to me.
Yep, Gizmo is 35 freaking years old. Asian Darwinism. So let's just break this down real quick for you. Sculpting. Sculpting purely in medium. Right now he looks a little bit like Yoda. That was not intended. But big booty and all, he came out and he thrived. I bring up Leica here because as a stop motion house, it's a really great way to frame how something like Tavoy exists in VR. So you see this palette of bespoke 3D printed parts, which are used later for stop motion itself. That's a really great way to look at how something like Gizmo could be rigged. So what you're seeing here is a flat version of Gizmo that I used to measure its proportions out against the puppet proportions. So what you're seeing me do is actually pull out every single piece of the puzzle that I've exported earlier from Medium, because I've actually sculpted him in such a way that these are all discrete parts: elbows, arms, ankles, the whole bit, even down to the eyelids. And that's really why I chose this method, because Tavoy allows for this type of articulation once you've gone through the initial work of setting up the puppet this way. And the puppets, that's the new thing about the new feature in this specific version of Tavoy, where you can actually edit the proportions of the puppet. So I made because Gizmo is such a cuddly, huggable little guy, he's much stouter, so I can actually pull out the actual hips, make things much shorter on all proportions of the limbs themselves. And once I've gotten that down, I can actually pull all those pieces, those little sushi bits, and link them to the actual puppet and have it all work with the inverse kinematic dynamic model. And so you'll soon see, first up, locators. Locators essentially like pivot tools. So I've stationed them within very specific parts of the model so that I can pivot that, so that you can see the ears move, the eyelids, everything. So they're linked. So there's a nested sort of quality to this, where those locators are linked to the puppet itself. So now we go straight into animation. So now that I've actually set him up in the Barbie car, which is all made in Gravity Sketch, by the way. Shout out to Gravity Sketch. That was super fun to sort of really pull all the pieces of the puzzle together. So Medium and Gravity Sketch coexisting all within Tavoy as sort of staging and animation. And what you're seeing me do here is really obsessively scrubbing through the timeline. And even though I have the animation blocked out in my head, what's really beautiful about VR, and I can't say this often enough, is that the playfulness of it brings out new ways of thinking about the animation itself. So for instance, when he's Tokyo drifting into that corner there, initially I just had him sort of like, I thought about, okay, a little blinking and bobbing and things like that, but I actually thought, no, the momentum of it is so dizzying for Gizmo, that he needs to shake it off. And so you don't see it in this stream, this time lapse, but when you see the final, you'll see him kind of have this little, just a little moment where it's a very endearing little moment where he just shakes it off. And, like Taylor Swift, he's just doing his thing. He's got to shake it off. So, and this is also showing you how many times I just polish and scrub over and over and over again until I've sort of seen him from every single different angle. I think we're at a good point to show you the rest of this short, if you haven't already seen it. Have a good one.